Good day, everybody. This is the Catholic Esquire. Please check out my website at catholicesquire.org. I am going to post an article, if not today, the day this video is being produced, hopefully by tomorrow. Um, it'll be related to the topic of this video today, so I'll put a link to the article into the description once it's done. So please look for that in the description whenever you watch this video. I want to talk today about why Catholics, in fact, do and should care about what happens in people's bedrooms. And it's good timing because this is the month of June. Good Catholics understand this is the month of the Sacred Heart. That's what we should be talking about. But sadly, we're all dragged into another topic that the rest of secular society is celebrating this month of June. And we have to talk about why and how Catholics need to be able to respond to what we're witnessing and being shoved down our throats literally every single day, everywhere you go, in all the stores, at work, on the internet, on television, wherever you go, you know what it is that's being shoved down your throat and forced upon you. Now, I know there's a lot of talking heads out there in the world, a lot of conservatives, American conservatives, that have a real problem with what we're seeing out there, and it's understandable. But you see, what we have to realize as traditional Catholics is that the reason we're in this situation is precisely because these so-called American conservatives have allowed it to get to this point. It's their fault. What we're witnessing now is the natural progression of a rejection of Jesus Christ and his church. It was bound to happen. And it was certainly bound to happen in the United States of America, which was built off of denying the kingship to Christ. Now, what am I talking about, and what authority do I have? Well, let me give you a little bit of background very quickly here. I've written about this before on my blog, but in case you don't know, I was very active at one point in time in the Republican Party. I was very active in the Tea Party movement. Would have called myself a liberty Republican or a liberty conservative. You know what I'm talking about. Many of these people are friends today. But the reality is as I came into tradition and a fuller understanding of the Catholic faith, I realized that this notion of liberty um, and quality and the ideas that even American conservatives claim to support is what brought us to this situation of complete cultural collapse. Now, what brought all of this to my mind was I recently saw a meme on social media from posted several places that libertarian type people or pro Tea Party liberty people read, and what it said was nobody cares about what you do in your bedroom, but if you could stop telling little kids about it, that would be great. Okay, kind of clever, right? There's only one problem with it. We have got to this point because we stopped caring about what happens in people's bedrooms. We allowed it to get to this point. This all started with contraception in the early 1900s. I understand the philosophical and moral decline began even well before that. But the current political situation, the current month situation that we're dealing with right now, goes back easily, we can trace it back easily to the acceptance of contraception. And who was accepting contraception first? The Protestants. Now, the idea was, who am I to say who should be contracepting? What you do in your bedroom is your business. That's your family. Well, this is exactly why Catholics care about this issue. One of the many, many reasons why, actually. But we do need to start caring what people do in their bedrooms for this very reason. Because what happens in people's bedrooms ends up becoming a societal problem if what's happening in the bedroom is immoral. It begins with contraception. We just take a few more little steps, and all of a sudden, well, we messed up, so now I have to abort the baby because the contraception didn't work. And who are you to say that's a right to privacy? That's what the court in Roe versus Wade said. It's a privacy right. So who am I to say whether someone can have an abortion or not? And then we take it a little step farther. Well, who am I to say that I can't have sexual relations with people of the same sex? It's in the privacy of my own bedroom. Okay, now go outside into your local Target store and tell me what you see. Because from there, it goes to, well, if I'm able to do that, I'm able to get married. Well, if I'm able to do that, then I should be able to actually change my own sex. And if I'm able to do that, I need to be able to buy clothes that fit my identity. And if I'm able to do that, so on and so on and so on. You see, all of this, the root of this problem begins with us concisely saying, I don't care what happens in your bedroom. So all the conservatives, the libertarians, the Tea Party type folks, many people who are my friends to this day, and I probably would have been saying the same thing 10 years ago. I can no longer say that now that I understand true tradition. We do have to care what people do in their bedrooms. We have to talk about it. We have to understand and be familiar with the church actually teaches on this stuff. Now, what we're getting from the post Vatican II talking heads about this, because they're trying to smooth this stuff over. You cannot compromise on these things, especially with such grave sins that we're dealing with right now. This is not a private issue. This is affecting all of society. It should be obvious now between all the boycotts that are happening. We're all trying to put band aids on a major, major problem now that we let fester over time and allowed to get to this point. So, like I said, I'm going to write an article to give a little bit more detail on this, to give a better history about the roots of this and how it's actually rooted in Protestantism and Enlightenment thoughts and notions of liberty. Many of these notions of liberty that our American conservative friends, our evangelical and Protestant friends still sign on to. And they see what's going on all around them and they have no explanation for it. And I feel very badly for them, because you can just watch them in their hearts and in their minds, just watching the entire society collapse, and they have no idea why, and they have no idea what to do about it. But we know as traditional Catholics that the answer is in Jesus Christ. The answer is restoring Christ's kingship to society and culture. We also know that this begins with getting our worship right, i.e., the traditional Latin Mass, not watered down Protestantized versions of it, and rejecting teachings of the Second Vatican Council that go along with these notions of liberty that have allowed this situation to get to the point where it is. If we just sit down and get our fundamentals and our principles right, all of this stuff will be much more clear. And I know it's not easy to do because I was in the same place at one time. And that's part of what I'm trying to do with these videos. If you think this is useful and these are topics that I should talk more about, please let me know in the comments. Because I don't always know what is resonating and what really needs to talk about. I don't want to talk about things everybody else in the world is talking about. But caring about what happens in people's bedrooms is a big one, and I haven't heard a lot of other people admit that. So if this video is helpful, please share it, like it, subscribe to the channel. That really helps. I thank you for listening. God bless.